Okay, so we are kicking off International Women's Day and talking through some, challenging questions maybe that really only can be answered by women, right? And here we have a lot of our female leaders at Helpware. I'd love if you all could just go around quickly and introduce yourself and what you do at Helpware.
Marta, I'm operations manager in Berlin, Germany. Hi.
My name is Liz. I'm the workforce management lead here. So I work under Dana and under operations and am building up our workforce department.
Joey, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yep. Hello. Nice to see everybody again. I'm Joey. I am the global POC for the learning and development team. And I am super happy with this meeting, Sam, if I may just say. Girl power.
That's what I'm talking about. And look at all of
queen.
Women leaders. Look at all of our women leaders right now. Annie?
Hi, everyone. I'm Annie, and I'm part of the learning and development team. Ultimate purpose to develop talents. That's all I can say for now.
Lilian?
Hi guys, I'm Lilian. I sometimes go by Lily, and I am a project coordinator here in Mexico. I work side by side with team leads as well as agents, making sure everybody's happy, they feel good, and we're as productive as we can be.
Gaby, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone, my name is Gaby. I am the internal communication manager, and basically what I do, I'm not focused into culture, so I have a lot of interest in this kind of forums and conference and all those things, so I'm super happy to be here with all this super female power from Helpware.
Yeah. And Yuliia?
My name is Yuliia. I'm the training manager here at Helpware, and I think my ultimate goal is to encourage people to love learning.
Oh yeah, that's true, and it's super important here at the organization as well, because we are absolutely pushing continuous learning all around. And then when Sasha is able to get her stuff set up, we'll have her introduce herself as well. Sasha, can you hear us?
Yeah, at last I can hear you.
Can you introduce yourself and just share what you do with the organization?
Sure. I'm Alexandra, and nice to meet you those who I never met before. It's a pleasure to see you all here at this call. I'm HR director at Helpware, responsible for Kiev, Berlin, and Manila part. And what I'm doing here, I would say, I'm trying to make more happy people work here at Helpware and to produce more advocates of Helpware brand.
Yep, that is right. She is an angel, Marta. She is. Okay, so let's just jump right in. I'm going to ask you some questions. If you feel comfortable answering, just go ahead and answer, right? So, as a female leader, how do you define success?
I can start this one because this was a real revelation to me recently. I think the definition of success is finding your place. It's not jumping the career ladder, moving forward in management or anything like that. For me, I found I'm happy in training, and now that I get to do more of it, I feel a lot more successful.
I love that. That's true. I think finding kind of what path works for you is definitely been something I've learned along the way too, and I'm sure all of you have as well. Anybody else want to share their perspective here?
My perspective on what I find out for success is the engagement I have of my peers and, building relationships there. As long as, we might fail service level, or we might fail challenges or have, things that are going on. But as long as the relationship with my peers is built and collaborative, then I find that really successful. And I look forward to that personal collaboration more so than I do kind of in the metrics, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I think we're all kind of in a situation where building relationships is so critical, right? Marta, I know you wanted to say something as well, right?
Yes, I think especially now at Helpware, it's very important to not just grow at the crazy pace like we are, but also build sustainability. And personally, I find it actually that most of the times the need for sustainability comes from women, where the need for growth comes from men. I'm going to say more about this. So let's push for sustainability.
Love that. Lily, do you have something to add as well?
Well, I really just agree with a lot with Liz and Marta and everybody said. I think maybe it's a little bit more, challenging for us as women to have that sustainability, like Martha said. But I think it's great because look at us, everybody that's here in this meeting right now, and we're we'll have our voice, and I just think it's great. So yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, right, and some of the challenges that we face as women, right, how do you think that Helpware has been able to support women in the organization?
I think it's great. Like I honestly feel like Helpware has like so much support for women in this industry, and they don't see you as, so we need a man to do this job because, a man can handle better a client or anything like that. It's like, no, like we can do it too. And we can, have maybe in my case, team leads that are guys and have have them respect us and look up to us and everything. So I think that Helpware is doing amazing with that. They give us a lot of give us opportunities to give our voice and our opinion and for it to be respected. So I love it. Like I think this is like the only job or the one job where I actually feel like I'm being taken serious and everything I poured and everything. So I think that's great. Like I'm super happy with that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think the thing for me is that it's hard to answer that question because I don't see there is a line drawn with Helpware. Like they don't look at you whether you're a woman or whether you're a man, but they look at you as a person and your capabilities, and they let the inner you shine regardless of that. So that's one of the things I love, is that we're looking at our qualifications as equals and just are allowed to shine for who we are.
Annie, or do you have anything, or Yuliia, whoever wants?
Yeah, well, for me, it's really about moving away from limiting beliefs that no, she can't do this, she can't do that. But I believe more than proving your capability, it's also respecting one's individuality, uniqueness, and strength. So yeah, that's my take on success in women's leadership.
I love it. Yuliia?
I think for me, it's important to say that straight from the get-go, there was never a conversation about it being like man versus women, or I just felt like I've been lucky enough to get into a setting that was already way from the beginning a setting of, okay, you're a great person, you're not a woman, a man. So I think that's awesome.
I agree with that. And, as a leader myself, right, I think that's one of the biggest and most impactful things is feeling empowered to take action and do my job without feeling any fear or concern that, my executive team is extra hard on me for being female, which we know has existed and still does exist in many organizations today. So in light of that, I'd love to ask, what is one major struggle you've had in pursuing your professional growth, specifically as, a female?
One of the things that is still obviously a truth in all corporate companies is that the population between men and women leaders is that it's still predominantly male. What's good about Helpware in particular, and I would like to echo what Lily mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter like the number of leaders, whether it's in terms of gender specificity, but it's knowing where to find your voice and how to use that voice to make sure that it's something that resounds to everyone from within your team, if it's somebody, or if it's also something that resonates to everyone else, even with other functions, for so long as they find, integrity, and they find logic, and they find compassion with everything that you say. So again, it doesn't matter if it's coming from a man or if it's from a woman leader, specifically here in Helpware.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Gaby.
For me, I think that one major struggle is not to compare myself to others, especially to males, because it's really hard for me to say like, oh, he's getting all this support because he's a male, because I've had this kind of situations in my previous jobs. So it's really hard for me to not feel that way. But honestly, here at Helpware, I've been having like a lot of support, transparency, and many like tools and new skills developed that make me feel like, oh, I should not be comparing myself to anyone else. Just as I think that it was Yuliia that mentioned that you need to find your purpose in the companies, but that is one major struggle that I've had so far.
Yeah, as brutal as this may sound, sometimes it's another woman who could rain on your parade. So I guess the point is, women are amazing just the way they are, just the way we are. And a woman doesn't need to monopolize power or authority, but to share it with other amazing, awesome women as well. So yeah, I guess that's how I, overcome those struggles that I've had before.
I completely agree with you. Sasha, you're unfrozen. Yay.
There's something strange with my equipment today. Like I would say I didn't have previously some struggling or some boundaries connected with the gender in my career, because like honestly said, here I don't know how about the other local locations. Like here we have historically some roles, business roles related to women, like HR, accounting, stylists, and so on and so on. So probably for this reason, I would say like my being more communicative and so on and so on, like always like personal features, like I would say better help me to reach my goals and professional growth and so on and so on. But I would say that for me, it was very hard to work with my personal boundaries, I would say more. So you have no boundaries because all the boundaries are inside your head. So in case you want to achieve something, like being the astronaut, for example, first woman or something like that, there's no boundaries, because any time I'm just comparing all our difficulties and some struggling with those people who don't have, for example, arm, or those who don't have, for example, leg, and they are taking these Olympic records and so on. So all boundaries on the inside of us, and nothing can stop you in achieving something until you want this, like really want this and really achieve this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to be prepared to fight really hard for this. And this is why, I agree with you, but at the same time, still we are in minority in many organizations, and it is a struggle for women to get, higher than being assistant, even the best one. My personal experience is that, for example, 18 years ago, when I started my professional career, like for women, it was really a struggle to get to the top. And if they got there, it cost them everything. And still everyone thought they are a diversity hire. Today, having team members in my team who are 20, 21, they're literally 18 years younger than me. They are the ones that the guys are saying to other guys, hey, that was a sexy joke. That's not funny. So honestly, I feel like actually each year I need to struggle less and less, because it's actually a different generation. These guys are growing up with so much more respect to women that they are the ones actually educating each other. That's at least my perception. I hope you guys are hopefully experiencing the same, that it was completely different planet 20 years ago.
I mean, I can just speak from the US perspective, right? This is the first time that we have a female vice president of the United States. So it really, opens the door to even, it's a conversation I had with my 9-year-old daughter, now she gets to see that. And now she gets to see somebody in that position and say, hey, look, there are people like me that are in those types of positions of power, and it allows it to be achievable for her as well. And I completely agree with you, Marta, because I definitely see, you know, the change and the growth, and really the participation of men, because it does require men. You know, we need, you know, men to reinforce the equality and the standards and change those stereotypes. So that I completely agree. So how do you think that we can empower other women to pursue their professional goals?
I would like to answer that. So I have the privilege of having a boss that is a bad woman. I didn't want to say that word. And, you know, sometimes she reminds me how much of a boss I can be. And I think that that's something is we consistently have to remind each other and build each other up, because no one is harder on anyone else other than a woman is hard on herself. So I think we forget to give ourselves grace and forget how powerful we are. So one of the things I think in order to make us more successful is to remind each other, like, you've got this, you're a boss, like, don't get down and just keep going.
Oh yeah.
Stop apologizing.
Yes. Need
Exactly.
to end the apologies. We apologize for taking up space, and we're just so used to it, right? So used to it. But the thing is we deserve the spot that we're in. We deserve to be in the space that we have. And I completely agree, Liz. I think women empowering other women is one of the best things that we can possibly do. And agree with you. You do have a BA of a boss for sure that was unfortunately not able to attend today.
Yeah, she's honestly helped me map my career in a different way that I never thought possible. And I consistently look at her and I'm like, you know, she's my idol. She's what I aspire to be. And it's because she's not apologetic for who she is, and she owns that. And I don't have that confidence. And that's one of the things I admire about her so much, is she knows what she knows, and she's so good at it. And I try to do that and own what I know. Like I have moments I'm like, wow, I did that capacity plan and it worked out fine. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I know how to do. So, you know, we have to be non-apologetic. I love that, Sam.
So for
Sorry, I just wanted to add towards what Liz was saying. I think it's kind of relevant to the idea is to be less judgmental towards each other. I think that's a really important one, because there's like, I feel like the things that men don't notice, women notice, and sometimes we just judge each other for it, which I think will be awesome if we just stop doing that. That would solve a lot of problems.
I do agree with that one. Since I was younger, I've always just, I've never liked that. And so what I've done to try to combat that is that anytime I have a conversation with a woman, I'm, you know, at the grocery store, anywhere, right? And I'm just a talkative person as is, so you guys know this, but anytime I have a conversation with a woman, I always like to compliment or highlight something that, you know, is something that will make them happy, right, in a genuine way, because I do think that, you know, we are in that type of environment where that's not something that is common, right? It's a lot more of like that bashing or the judgment, right? And I think the best way to overcome that is just by, you know, complimenting your fellow women around you, strangers. And I just love the response that I see, that it may be the only compliment they receive all day long, right? I love being a woman and being able to do that and bring that for other women as well. What do you all think?
But accepting those compliments for yourself, because I always feel like I'm like, oh girl, I love your shirt or your makeup some point, but then someone says that to me and I'm like, thank you, you know. So we have to start accepting those accolades ourselves.
Oh my gosh, so true. Go ahead, Lily.
I was just laughing. I think that's right. I couldn't agree more.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Gaby.
I just wanted to say that I think that we need to own the fact that we share a sorority, just because we are women, and not just because we belong to a certain company, but to live day by day that sorority and to give support to each other. I think that is truly important, because you don't know when someone just needs to hear like, hey, everything is okay, it will be okay, you're doing great, because we have those thoughts. So yeah, sorority.
Love it. Love it.
You're right. Right, Annie? So many women often struggle to promote themselves in their careers. I like to call this imposter syndrome, right? Where we don't feel like we are ready, or we're not confident in ourselves. And a lot of times when, looking at applying for a position, going for a promotion, we often don't do that as women unless we can check off all of the boxes. Right? We tend to lack that confidence. So I want to know what your thoughts are on self-promotion and how, you've been successful in self-promoting.
For me, it's very practical. It's simple. Just be real. What's your deepest desire that makes you get up early in the morning and keeps you awake at night? And what's the price you're willing to pay? I mean, once you know what you really want, the rest will follow.
Once I applied for a senior role, and it took me 48 hours to prepare the whole weekend. And then I went perfectly prepared to the interview, and they surprised me by asking me what type of support you would need from us as managers. I was shocked. I was completely not prepared that actually I could ask for help. And this is what I learned. Like, part of my interview is, this is what I'm bringing, but it could be 60%, it could be 70%. That's, by the way, what guys are doing. They already feel prepared. And the rest, invest in me, teach me, be there for me, answer my questions. So I think that was very important lesson learned for me, that it's not just a test that I have to pass. My manager needs to do the same for me.
Yeah, because we all deserve the support, and we all deserve, the help when it's needed, right?
I'd say it was hard for me. I always feel like I have to be 110% ready for something. So I was lucky enough to start my first job where the basic requirement was knowing English, and I kind of worked from there. So I still think it's a struggle for me, self-promotion. And yeah, it's still an ongoing thing that I have to work on and work through every day. So if you're not there, that's okay too.
I think one of the key takeaways there as well is to never be shy from saying that you need help. So just like what Marta mentioned, it just doesn't mean that when you feel you're ready, it means like you're 100% ready. There's still that component there where there's something, or there's what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. So I think part of being authentic and being genuine is also is to admit that there's still a lot of things that we are unaware of. So it's not like we have the answer for everything in the world.
Yeah. Sasha, anything you want to add?
Honestly, I don't know what to add. Probably that's why we work in all the same company.
Right. Well, what I will say in regards to self-promotion is that it takes time, right? And it takes a conscious effort to remind, at least myself, right? To remind myself that I have earned my rights to be where I am. And that even though I don't know everything, right, that doesn't mean that I can't learn it, and that doesn't mean that I can't figure it out. And really just to exude that confidence. I go off of Angela Duckworth, if you've ever heard of Angela Duckworth, and she talks a lot about grit, and grit is, when you have those challenges and those struggles, using that to motivate you and to really push you in your personal and professional growth. So I always keep that at top of mind. And I love the terms, fake it till you become it, right? Not fake it till you make it, right? It's fake it till you become it. And I operate off of that. Because I do think that we have self-doubt. We doubt ourselves a lot more than we probably should. And so just keeping and reiterating, we can do this. Like, I can do this. I know how to do this, and keeping that confidence. Okay, I'm going to wrap up with our last question. I'd love to hear from every person on the call on this one. What is one thing you would advise to females at Helpware that want to pursue a career in leadership?
I would say being direct. I don't know, but I was frozen in the middle of the question, and probably we'll have this question, for example, about the women who inspires you more. And I would say, like, for me at the moment, this is Marta, because I really appreciate her being direct in feedback and her suggestions. And this is something, like, I really appreciate people who really respect someone's boundaries and points of view and so on, but still we do have save our own perspective in anything, not being lost in like thousands of thoughts, ideas, and so on, and being direct. Because like, I would say the main thing here is within the like working and making business and making revenue and so on, like being yourself first of all, not losing yourself, your point of view, your opinion. And probably this is something that makes us unique and makes us important. And that's why we can bring a value. So we won't bring a value if we will be all the same. And by this diversity, we are all bringing the value, and we are empowering this company and bring more value to like things we're doing here. So that's why I really appreciate like direct feedback, being like, because like honestly, I think we sometimes lose a lot of time while trying to find some words that cannot hurt someone or something like that. For sure, that's very important. Like I'm pretty sure it's very important, but sometimes it's really needed here when we are like in those old time changing environment. It's really needed to be direct and super fast in your feedback and what you're translating and saying. So that's why I would advise everyone to be indirect, because we're just sometimes losing time. And in case like we'll find the right words and said in right time and so on, that like better perspective for us first of all.
Absolutely, I agree with that one. And as many of you know, Sasha is actually my direct report, right? And this is something we talk about all the time, is transparency and just being honest, because we don't have time to waste here, do we? Okay, who else wants to?
Marta, go ahead.
So since I'm so direct, I have a very direct suggestion. Network. Each day until the end of this month, find one woman at Helpware that you haven't spoken to, send her a Slack message. Could be question, could be just hi. Just build your network, especially important now that we're working alone at home or could feel disconnected. Thanks.
That's a good one. That is a good one. I will be that, Marta. I will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think mine, I'm sorry, Annie, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I think mine goes along very in hand with what Martha just said. I think every woman here in this meeting or in this call has, told everybody that we can please reach out to us if there's anything you need, if there's any question you may have, we're going to help you. So, what I would say is please reach out. I don't think it's ever like a bother. It's never anything like. I feel like me personally, and I feel like everybody here feels the same. We feel good when we know that somebody that reached out to us got to where they wanted to be. So I would say, don't be afraid. Like if, just little examples, like if like I've heard like a lot of girls say like, I want to apply for this position, but I feel like a lot of people are going to apply and I just don't think I'm going to, get the cut. Like, don't think like that. Like, one person is going to get it and that person can be you. It all depends on yourselves. And so that would totally be my perspective and my advice. Like, just go for it. If it doesn't happen once, you're going to get the experience and then you're probably going to get it the second time. But it's always important to believe in yourself and don't be afraid to ask for help, because we're there for you. So that would be on my end.
On, Lily. That was fantastic. Annie?
Yeah, mine is simple but difficult. Are you ready? Simple yet difficult. So I think for women who want to become a leader, do what you say you would do. So I think the credibility of, the foundation of leadership is really credibility. So if you want it, then if you say you're going to do it, then do it. It's kind of scary, right? So I'm also telling that to myself.
Yeah, I agree with that one. That's for sure.
I think stay true to yourself and have the courage to hold your ground, even when everyone else has doubts, but you believe that you're right. I think that's really important.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Exactly what I was going to say. Get rid of the self-doubt, Yuliia. Exactly. That self-doubt seems to be the thing that keeps us down the most. And that's the one thing that we can work on. Is just don't doubt yourself, because you've got it.
And mine would be to become an inspiration to the rest of the women population, like in Helpware for now. I know we're privileged that we're part of the leadership team, but I know there are also a lot of other women employees that are not that privileged to have that voice similar to what we have at the moment. So I think, like doing very simple and doing simple surprises, or like just asking how they are, I think would go a long way.
Gaby?
I think that my advice will be to deconstruct every idea that you possibly have about being a leader, and just learn, and echoing what Yuliia said, just be yourself. And it's okay to look up to someone, but it's also important that you can say something like, I want to be like that leader, but I'm gonna do this differently because I believe in this thing, or these are my core values, or whatever it is. Just just deconstruct anything, or forget about everything, and just learn new things.
I like that. This has been really, really awesome. I've really, really enjoyed the conversation. The only thing I will add as far as my advice to anybody is never stop asking questions, and don't be afraid to take risks. Because I think as women, we tend to be more risk adverse, where we should really, pursue those things that may be a little bit riskier, but can ultimately be very rewarding and bring a lot of, success and growth to us as women, and as professionals as well. I just want to wrap up by just saying thank you so much for joining this. I know that we all, as female leaders, have very busy calendars and busy days, and I look forward to, just continuing to build, the women, build up our women at Helpware, and continue to build our connections, like Marta had said, and everyone has kind of echoed, and not to be afraid. Let's not just be afraid. Let's just jump in and pursue what we want, right?